So this is our AI-enabled proposal support for 2025 report out by the Institute of Computing and Cyber Systems Center for AI. Hi, my name's Vin. So I'm an assistant professor in the Mechanical and Aerospace Department here at Michigan Tech. I am also the center director for the Center for AI under the Institute of Computing and Cyber Systems here. So a bit about what we're going to talk about. So the motivations for this effort that we undertook, considerations when we tried to undertake this effort for AI-enabled proposal support, different initiatives that we've done, an AI policy, and kind of lessons learned and next steps here. So part of this motivation is other universities are looking on seeing how they can use AI to operate and make their business operations more efficient. So here you can see I have NC State's, I mean, they made this strategic plan public, but AIification of their research infrastructure, right? University of Florida as well. And so when you submit proposals, you are competing with other universities that submit your proposals too, right? NSF rates proposals on not competitive, somewhat competitive, very competition means you're competing, right? Here. And so part of this is how do we see how to leverage AI for our proposal operations? Bit of expectation setting here. This is a learning experience. No one has all the answers. I don't know if any of you all saw, but on LinkedIn, MIT actually released a report, said 95% of AI kind of used for their business operations failed because of the scalability, right? So part of that. This is not bragging about a solution. We don't have a one-stop shop solution. We don't have something called Michigan Tech AI or AI Michigan Tech AM2 there. This is also not an AI training workshop, but based on what we've seen through this effort, we'll do this later. So this is really a report out on what we've learned and also a way to solicit our ideas here. And maybe you all learn a thing or two. So in terms of outcome summary, some of the initiatives we did was AI-enabled RFP searching. So the outcomes, this is kind of the first step up front, kind of using Perplexity based on Google Form inputs, generating non-technical documents. So we created templates and prompts for faculty to use with AI tools. And then red team review. So we created a local LLM that helps do peer reviews to analyze technical proposals. So now that I just kind of put the summary up there. Yeah. No. So that's just the non-technicals when you submit a proposal. Yeah. So that's like budget justification. We'll go more into that, but great question. So what we did is we first conducted a survey with ICC members. We asked them, please note how helpful the following suggestions for AI-enabled proposal support would be for you. We asked things about RFP searching, budget justification, non-technical documents, proposal review, figure generation, internal collaborators, and technical writing. And here you can see so the kind of options. And we've kind of seen kind of by weighted average to explore these efforts here. Some of the ones that were maybe not as seen as much was figure generation and finding internal collaborators. And then we also asked, not what would you use AI for, but how helpful would these possible tools be for your proposal support? So we asked about enterprise license. Let's just get ChatGPT for everyone, right? Get the enterprise. Local instances of AI tools, getting our own local instances for AI tools. Usage workshops, existing AI tools trained on Michigan Tech specific data, crowdsourced data, and then tools developed by students. And so what we kind of saw, some of the biggest demands were here and also here as well. So local instance of AI tools, AI usage, and workshops and tutorials there. These are some of the responses anonymized here. So from the faculty, so AI tools are evolving rapidly, making it a challenge for faculty to stay current. I agree. You know, the need for hardware, right, to support the development and deployment of large AI on systems, maybe some sort of membership computing, you know, cloud computing, something that we're looking for in Tech Forward 2.0. But one issue with cloud computing is like access to the internet. You know, there's some folks who work on projects that have certain restrictions. They can't, like, what can we do for it? We can't support those. You know, learning more about how to use AI tools for proposal support, and any workshops available on how tools can be used in proposal preparation. So we pursued three initiatives based on that. Once again, RFP searching, non-technical document generation, red team review. This here is the team. So Krishna, raise your hand. Where's Krishna? Okay, he's in the back there hiding. Okay. Tagore, yeah, in the front here. Yeah, great person. All right. And then Amanda, also back there. And then James, he's online managing the Zoom. So this was a collective effort. I didn't just go off on my own and started playing around with tools and buying up subscriptions. Well, I did do that, but you know, they did the more interesting stuff. I don't know how. Okay, that's fine. So considerations. So one thing, AI tools are coming out everywhere, right? There's got to be something out there for helping proposal support. So we looked at things like AutoGen AI, Grantable, Initium. So Initium, we actually sat and talked with their founder, CEO. They're a small startup based from University of Michigan on kind of creating proposal support. Actually made, I've uploaded my NSF career proposal multiple times. It's probably over the internet to test this. And then also Grant Forward has AI enabled support as well based on their findings. So we tried out a lot of multiple ones. We don't want to get too much into the details there, but we can report those findings more in detail later. One issue is cost of scale. A lot of these are kind of more of a personal space, which is great for individual faculty. If you want to use these tools for yourself, by all means, go ahead. But you know, we want to help support everyone. Data security. I asked one of these tools, you know, what happens to my data when it goes. You know, I don't want to sound rude, but I wasn't happy with the response. And then also tailoring this to Michigan Tech information, right? So, you know, we have a lot of information, right, through Cayuse, through you know, through our accounting systems. Can't really leverage those in these type of solutions. Also, I don't know if I'm allowed to show this. This is also outdated financial numbers for the Center for AI, because someone might ask, why don't you just get us a supercomputer? These are some numbers. Our average monthly return is about $2,000 a month. We have 40 members in the Center for AI. We assume we serve all members. So if I get everyone ChatGPT Plus licenses, so that's $200 a month, multiply that by 40 members, that's $8,000 a month. 8,000 is larger than 2,000, right? So okay, I know I'm saying that to Michigan Tech people, but you know, sometimes it needs to be said. But you know, our resources, right? We want to be able to, we have to be creative on how we leverage these resources accordingly to support everyone. The other one, the other consideration, I'm gonna see if I can hide. Okay, great. AI literacy. So, you know, we have 12 different units under the Center for AI. We have people from applied computing, computer science, EC, manufacturing and mechanical engineering technology, mechanical engineering, college of business, bio, math, VPA, so on and so forth, right? So some people are actively doing research in this stuff. So here's a publication, MTU LLM by Jungyung Bae. So she's actually in mechanical and aerospace engineering, right? So we have faculty who are very well versed in AI. And then we have faculty that are still learning about markdown files, right? How do we try to compensate for that wide range, right? Whether it's through providing AI literacy or through providing certain tools. And once again, we assume we serve all members, right? I'm not the type who's like, get with the program, figure out how to do all this stuff, right? On your own. So we're assuming that we serve all members with this. We also have amazing proposal support personnel. What should we hand off to them, which is what should faculty members do? So this is kind of what I refer to the self-driving car problem. So, you know, self-driving cars are projected to decrease traffic by reducing human error, but you're going to have more cars on the road when you implement self-driving cars, which would then increase traffic, right? So how do we make sure that we don't make our personnel, right, just prompt engineers all the time? And then also data security. So that's a big one. So we have a Michigan Tech LLM and research policy here. This is the use of large language models in research activities. What's sensitive versus non-sensitive? So obviously technical proposals, very sensitive. Facilities, that's public information. Budgets, I don't really know if those are sensitive. Basically, we have to be careful on what we probably can't upload proposals without submission. I know a lot of external AI tools will say that they're safe with your data, but as we've mentioned, sometimes sponsors and agencies don't want to take that chance, right? So we have to make sure that we're treating the data securely and adhering to Michigan Tech policies regarding data information, data handling accordingly. So considerations, outcomes could be anything. So we didn't know what the outcome would be. We didn't know if we were going to just like make a bunch of LLMs, if we were going to buy everyone ChatGPT subscriptions, we were going to do workshops, create some scripts. Is it just knowledge? Do we just like put on a how-to page online, show people what to do? Is it going to be templates, right? Prompting templates. While a one-stop shop solution is ideal, we were not expecting that. Like with just all the tools and all the possible use cases you could need for proposal support, like that's just not what we were expecting. So the first thing we'll talk about is RFP searching here. So that was actually pretty straightforward. So what this was using AI based on faculty information to conduct RFP searching. So what we did is we settled on what's called Perplexity. Perplexity is kind of the go-to for a lot of AI-based searches because it also provides citations. It uses research mode. Here, I'm going to try to go to Perplexity to provide a demonstration. So here's an example, grant opportunity for Michigan Tech professors. These are some things that I prompted here. This is my field in manufacturing. It provided so on and so forth. And it also provided the sources as well, upcoming RFP deadlines. And then there's also deep research mode, right? That people can use similar to what people use for ChatGPT here. The red, I apologize for the red. And then we also can have it in a table like here, listing different things, manufacturing USA. So I was actually pretty happy with what these are. In my field of manufacturing, a lot of these are actually relevant. So it actually did a pretty good job there. Oh, I'm all the way at the back. So it actually seemed to work pretty well. It's nothing too fancy, pretty straightforward. So the question is, that was the easy part, but how do we set up the infrastructure for everyone to use it, right? So I can't give everyone perplexity accounts. Once again, that goes into scalability costs, right? Also, if I give someone an account, how do I know they're going to use it and actually look for RFPs, right? So what we did is we created a Google form here. And so what this Google form is, like so. So ICC AI-enabled proposal support. This is also public. This is on the ICC website. So you can provide your email, provide RFP area of interest, list keywords, any constraints on eligibility, citizenship. Are you an early career researcher, right? What type of funding opportunities are you interested in? Size of the RFP, when to submit a proposal, kind of the funding resource, what do you typically submit to, right? How often would you like to receive matches, additional information, also uploading any documents. So then we created a Python script, pretty straightforward, that would query this information to Perplexity and then automatically send it as an email out to ICC members. So what we did is we queried Perplexity through APIs. They're basically libraries that let you access Perplexity. Then the emails were then sent periodically to faculty. And then we conducted a pilot with 8 ICC faculty as well to kind of go over this. So once again, the outcome for this was a Python script. Here's an example of an email. It's hard to see the font, but just an automated email that provides the file in this format here for people to read and get their results like so. So this is automated, so that's very nice. Some lessons learned, even when you use these kind of APIs, these kind of ways to access Perplexity, they still cost $1. So, if you have 40 members, that's $40, and they all want it weekly, it's $40 a week, right? So, it does scale still accordingly. It's a pretty low commitment buy-in, very easy, just sign up. Usefulness is debatable, right? There's only so much you can do, but if there's at least one thing that you learned that you didn't know about before that you want to try out, then that's something useful. And then the Google format structure is a good approach. Yes? Yes. Yeah. It's all on my account though. So you all don't have to pay there. And then also leveraging Michigan Tech for previous proposal submissions as well. Then the next one was non-technical, document generation. So we had to decide to generate three different type of documents. This here is the number of submissions by ICC faculty at kind of our percentage. So a lot of it comes from NSF, right? And then 22% is other, right? So almost 40% comes from NSF. So that kind of helps narrow down the type of top documents to generate. So budget justification, facilities, and also data management plan, a nice big breadth there. So for the budget justification, what we did is we inputted the budget spreadsheet that we all discussed and a budget justification template here that you can see. So you can see senior personnel, name, title, budget request, so on and so forth. And then we also just went out and explored options, right? So we explored ChatGPT, Grok, Manus, Notebook LLM, et cetera, and saw what seemed to work the best for us. Without going too much into what we found, Notebook LM seemed to work the best for us since it only looks at your uploaded documents. You can also connect it to your Google Drive. We also have a Google Workspace plan. Some of the other tools still went off the rails even we just told them to focus on the uploaded docs. So as an example, when we went with ChatGPT and we were just like, use this template, use this information, create a budget spread, we prompted much better than that, of course. It just like went off and like decided just like get information from the internet and just like incorporate in that. Even though we tried to tailor it accordingly, this one seemed to be at least good for kind of fixing like stationing that. So here's an example on Notebook LM. Okay, this entire thing wants to do something background. So here you can see all the sources that we've kind of uploaded. These are a variety of different templates. Here's an example for facilities. So this is our a facilities template here for our computing systems. So you can kind of upload that here. Is it this? Okay, yeah. So on and so forth. You can select the template. So based on what I select, I can then do the prompt, and then it would only pull from those information. So as an example, with the budget justification template here, here you can see the template is senior personnel, the prompt, so on and so forth, other personnel, fringe, equipment, travel. So it's kind of helping to populate that there. So here's an example on what you can see based on this prompt that we provided. So it said, you know, if the information is not provided, make it very clear, information not provided on the output, right? And then provide the dollar amounts accordingly, and then put a new line before each budget request. It allows for human in the loop reformatting, right? This is meant to be a start. Then you can go back and template through it. It also incorporates our Google Work Plan, but we can't upgrade it. And it also, we were very surprised, it worked very well with the budget spreadsheet. So you saw what a beast that was in the previous workshop. We did check the numbers multiple times and double checked. It actually seemed to work pretty well with that. And then this kind of use of using templates and replicating prompts seemed promising for other documents. We followed a similar concept for facilities document. So the nice thing about facilities is that we actually have a spreadsheet by ICC for boilerplates for facilities. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. So if you wanted to use OCML, which is kind of our materials characterization facility, we have this boilerplate template that you can use here to integrate into your facilities document, like so. So then we use the facilities template, we used the same prompt, and then we generated the facilities documents like so from there. So it wasn't bad. It seemed to at least work sort of smoothly for this. And here's an example of a prompt that we used. Data management plan was a different story because we leverage the same approach, but we have something here at Michigan Tech called DMP tool. For reference, the data management plan is when you submit to NSF and a lot of other agencies, it's how are you going to handle the data, right? Whether it's the educational data, whether it's, you know, collected data from your models or collected data from your experiments, how are you going to handle it? So we have something called DMP tool. You can use a template, and then without DMP tool. So we have access to this tool here, which helps formulate data management plans. You have an account, you just look up DMP tool, Michigan Tech. So here's my dashboard. You can see automated data preparation. Like I said, I uploaded my NSF career proposal like 15 times, so it's probably all over the internet. Probably doesn't need to go through peer review, actually. And then you can put up the project collaborators. You can write your plan. It asks products of research. What are these questions? and then you kind of fill it out, and then it actually imports that in there for you, like so. And it would export a data management plan. So what we did is we actually prompted, and we had these tools in the prompt of these questions, and then we uploaded our proposal, or my proposal, which I said was not advised, and we were able to formulate data management plans accordingly. So in terms of the outcome, these are temps and prompts available on ICC's facilities here. Once again, Notebook LLM seemed to work for the best for us, but this can be tried with other tools, no harm there if you want to use these templates. Lessons learned, not all solutions require some super cool program, sometimes knowledge enough. Formatting was tough. So if it was a budget justification in like a sponsored format, forget it. Like it just did not work there. You could like copy and paste from the format, but it was at that point we just had to do it manually. Creating templates for each agency is possible, but probably not the best use of our time. And then the kind of final initiative we looked into was red team review. So this initiative is you have a technical proposal and we want to provide peer review feedback. So we didn't want to upload proposals onto external platforms. Once again, we made our own local LLM for this. First thing was to see if we had enough space to handle our model plus the proposal. The budget was also constrained. That was a factor. Once again, we're not buying, $250,000 GPU cluster here. We purchased a Lambda Vector 1 for this much. It has these specs here, so it's not a bad piece of equipment for this type of approach. We tokenized a 15-page NSF proposal and a 7-page proposal. Those of you from the previous workshop know what that 7-page proposal was. The model name that we used is here. It's model size, so, get my family. Turns out the model was too large, even with this. So, looking at that calculator with the GPU resources that we had at this, here are the parameters of what we could do. So certain number of parameters, you can think of like the size of the model, and then at the precision here. So for reference, you can see that GPT 4 is 1.76 trillion parameters. And so here we're nowhere near that approach here, right? So once again, we're not running ChatGPT on this thing, right? We're just not. And so the question there goes into how do we adjust our approach? So what we did is we focused on smaller, but more tailored models, right? You don't need to use, a very large model that can do all these things. You can tailor it to your particular application. So then we settled on this module here, less parameters. And then we were able to generate a variety of different feedback from this as well. So we were able to import our proposals accordingly. Here's a demonstration kind of how it worked. So this is just manually done here. So it's nothing too, yeah. And so we uploaded the 7-page proposal. You can select your proposed approach accordingly, and then it can generate the review for you and at least provide a second set of opinions for that as well, as you can see here in the format that we desired. So in terms of that, initiative, we had a local LLM that kind of conducts peer reviews to analyze proposals. If you want to accommodate for more general cases, we'd need bigger hardware. We'd also want to fine-tune responses based on prior NSF reviews. And then we also set this up as a Google form. We're still seeing how to disseminate it. So here's an example of the solicitation when you'd like the review by, how would you like your proposal reviewed, so on and so forth there. But the question here now is, we just entered a territory where we made our own, or we used our own LLM. So how do we manage that? So we had to look and see like what type of policies there are for this type of stuff. We wanted to make sure that this focused on appropriate procedures. It's not a research LLM, right? It's not changing every other week, every other day. We do have existing Michigan Tech policies. So we have the IT policy, the research integrity policy, and the general university policy regarding AI. These are really great for using AI, but what about managing internally developed AI? So then that's when we started to follow a particular standard. So this is ISO IEC 42001. My postdoc was at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, so I'm a big standards person here. So it's the world's first AI management standard system. There's also the NIST AI risk management playbook as well for managing your AI systems. So what this is it just describes an artificial intelligent AI management system. It's designed to ensure responsible development and use of AI systems. It's more about documentation than like this is good, this is bad. And so what we did is the Center for AI has kind of developed an AI policy for its AI management system. Think of AI policy as to constitution, as AI management system is to government. So the policy is kind of the document that facilitates the function of the AI management system. Normative references, this is just a fancy way of saying of what those standards are based off of. Once again, this policy applies to what we've developed. It doesn't apply to all systems developed by Center for AI faculty, externally developed systems, or systems that are not developed by staff. And the way that we kind of did this was leadership and top management, developers, users, manager, and audit committee. Once again, this is just following the standard. We have procedures for each AI system. So verification, validation, this is test input, test output. Risk assessment, all the risks. How do we treat each risk? Impact assessment, competency confirmation. So this documents all the roles that have competency with the associated system, including users, right? We want to make sure people who are using it are at least have their competency recorded for this. And then we have the documentation here as well. So that's kind of a summary a lot on our efforts on this. So the next steps are identifying more opportunities that aren't redundant or PI specific. So this is conducting information with indexes and proposals. This is something of mine that I've been really trying to see how we can do to see how we can use AI for some of these, like, you can't do this, right? Or you're overcharging into this, or like, hey, what are you doing here? You know, do I have enough money for this? You know, which funding agency gets our most submitted proposal? We probably can't get access to WebFocus or Cayuse. These are kind of our internal systems. So we might have to use internal data, which requires permission. We have data policy and handlings with that. Try to find and increase opportunities that increase our hit rate with big proposals. Also scaling up to ICC. So conducting actual workshops, right? So this isn't necessarily a workshop. This is just a report out. Fine-tuning some of our approaches, right? Tailoring towards specific programs. And then leveraging people from knowledge from people much smarter than me. That's not particularly hard to find. I'm a mechanical engineer. And then with respect to the AI policy, you know, promoting this policy and then putting this policy online somehow, similar to like we have for other Michigan Tech policies here. This here, once again, is a barcode. You know, if you want to provide your impact on other ideas, you're welcome to take a picture and go online accordingly and fill out the Google form on how we can kind of go with this effort. Please engage with us. A lot of this effort is really to establish the infrastructure because AI tools are constantly changing, right? You know, there's going to be something out there that outpaces Perplexity, right? But we have the infrastructure and the knowledge now to kind of adapt to that. Even if you're not ICC, if you want to use these tools, please let us know. A lot of the tools, some of the tools are resource constraints. So like I said, the RFP searching is $1 per deep research query, but we can discuss. So we're not, you know, we're open to that. If we're doing something completely wrong or there's better solutions out there that can help save us time, please let us know. Like I said, plethora of different things out there. I'm not professing to say that we exploit all of them here. Because we're going to do a report out next year, right? So this is part of what the Center for AI does to support research faculty here at Michigan Tech and part of the learning process. Also to help support the VPR's mission in advancing research here at Michigan Tech.